been harvesting today. It's going to be another hot one. So I've got some zucchinis, a couple of squash, some beautiful Valentine tomatoes. They are gorgeous, and a blotchy tomato. Now that I've looked up and found out it's like a potassium, so I'll need to fix that and amend that in my garden. Here you go, Matilda, going to see it? Oops, he dropped it. Yum, 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 she says. Gone. Just like that. Good morning, Green Wonders. It's very hot here today. So we are going to be chatting, and I want to show you what I help with my chooks in the way of food, so I'm not buying it down at the shops. So let's turn around. One thing I am doing is kale. It's the first time growing it. As you can see down the bottom, it did get attacked a bit, but I've slowly battled with that and got rid of all the bugs and grubs that I'm aware of. Chooks said thank you to that. So I'm growing kale, and also down here, silver beet for the chooks. Then they get their kitchen scraps and any other garden waste, and they get that at night or afternoon, late afternoon, so it's all eaten, and then in the morning they get their grain. So that's what I've been doing. We've got nearly the end of the cucumbers, I think, so they're starting to go a bit bitter. So I've been chopping them up for the chooks, and of course the chooks have been enjoying it. And another thing I'm doing is I'm growing sunflowers. When they dry off, I'll harvest the seeds and I can use those in the compost bay as a treat. Wouldn't that be nice? Yes. So we've got our apples coming soonish. Also, when I cut back my mint, there it is, that goes towards the chooks as well. Tomatoes are nearly coming to an end. Only seems like yesterday that we were just popping them in as babies, but now of course they're not. Another nice big red one to pick before the sun cooks it today. But you can see this is because of lack of potassium, so if you've got that in your garden, that's what it is. So when I redo this bed, I'll put some potassium in. Sorry, too many curt words in the garden at the moment. My capsicums are finally starting to fruit. You can't eat that one, Matilda. That one might give you a bit of heartburn. So that's really good. So I'm really pleased about that. There's some more coming here. You can just see them. And down here, this is a new one I'm growing. It's got some little flowering buds just there. Don't know if you can see that in the shade. That might be a bit better for you. And that one is this name. Can you see the name? Yeah. So there you go. So that's that one. So you can see they've been in for a while. So they're finally starting to fruit, which is really good. And I've got some radishes in with something at the back eating them, of course. Another bed of carrots. So that is good. And my lemon tree, when I was sick with COVID, and then we had that dreadful heat wave, my tree suffered so much. So of course we've done this now, and that's working fantastic. It's getting a nice deep water. The leaves, I've given it a feed of citrus feed. I've got some flowers coming. I noticed that. There you go, just in there. The last two crops of lemons we didn't get. The first one was a parrot ate them all. The second one was the tree was suffering. So as you can see, I don't know if you can feel it, but it is dry. So tonight I'll come around here so you can see it. I'm going to brush all that back, put all that back towards the back part of the compost, give it a bit of a moisten down and mix some wheat in it for the chooks to find as a treat, so they'll enjoy that. But they're going really good, so that is good. So let's go over and look at the nursery now. Been keeping an eye on them, making sure that they work nicely and grow. So let's have a look and we'll see what we've got going here. That's my beetroot. I've been growing them in these pots, and it's actually working out quite well, because when I harvest them and then empty then the bed's empty, there's none of this peat. None of this, it sounds like the Marmons here. The peat pot has gone. Beans suffered a little bit yesterday with the heat, but they're coming good. That's my coriander. This is a different kind of coriander that I'm used to. This one's called confetti. Why, I don't know, but it is. But it grows a little bit different to the normal coriander, but it's slower to bolt. Then in here I've got my Bloomsdale spinach. It's starting to get its true leaves now. Got some dill, some endive. Pat loves endive, and of course my spring onions that I use a lot of. And this is my tatsoi. And here's all my lettuces. These ones are yellow leaf, butter crunch, my freckle, which you can just see the freckle start to come out. This one's gold rush back here. Then we've got a salad bowl that I got from Grow It Local, a group I'm in. Some rocket. The kale didn't come up. So that's interesting, because I thought that would have come up. Maybe it's not, I don't know. Maybe it's the wrong time of the year. We'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, a couple of celery that I really do need to get into the garden. Got that for a clearance for $1. And then over here is Patrick's portulacas. He loves portulacas, so he puts up with all my craziness in our marriage. So I like to grow things for him, and that includes flowers. And I forgot to say these beans are butter beans, if I didn't say that. So yeah, but that's it. That's everything at the moment. Garden's starting to come back a little bit more recognisable. The lawn's brown because it was so high. It was higher than the sides of the beds. So it took us about 5 mows by lowering it by each one, and it was very wet because we had a bit of rain. So it took 5 shots to mow it down. Patrick hasn't been well enough to whip a snip. So that's it at the moment. Now, if you're wondering why we don't get somebody in to do it, 2 reasons. One, the cost is very, very expensive when you're on a disability pension to pay for someone to come and do something. Probably looking at close to, if I remember rightly, it's about $50 to do the backyard, let alone the front. And Patrick says he likes mowing. It makes him feel like he's got a purpose, he says, because of his disability and that. So I say to him, maybe I should get him a ride-on mower and he could mow like Forrest Gump does in the movies all the time. So anyway, I'm starting to waffle, I think. So what I'm going to do is go inside, find something else to do that's more interesting than standing out here in the heat, because it is hot. Another thing I want to do too, those capsicums, you can see them down there, how tall they are, is they're going to need staking, because I'm a bit worried after all these months having them snap off. And what I'm going to do with those is I'm going to overwinter them, and then I will start new ones next year, and those ones will be a bit like my chili plant, which is about 4 years old. And they can get some earlier fruits while the new ones grow. And then what I'll do is I'll get rid of those older plants and start some new capsicums, and I'll keep this year's capsicums as the next ones. So there you go. Zucchinis are still crashing along. Look at them, absolutely blowing my mind. I've only got 3, but I'm getting enough of them that I can actually I grate that big one. I'll grate it up and give it to the chooks. But it does. It saves the food cost. We do give them a good quality food, like we do with the cats and Matilda. We give them red hen, and yeah, they seem to thrive on it. We get between 6 and 8 eggs at the moment, so that's good. So there you go. So what we're basically doing is just looking after the garden and making sure everybody's safe. Got lots of fresh water. So catch you next time. Bye.